Coming up on Inside the Summit League, basketball teams in the postseason, national tournament wins for the Jackrabbits and the Golden Eagles men and the Golden Eagles women and the Coyotes. Baseball season underway in league play, and the Omaha Mavericks out to a hot start as the Summit League season gets going. The Summit softball season going as well. North Dakota State looking to be the team to beat again. And in the campus spotlight, how a dance marathon at IUPUI has helped raise a lot of money to help kids with serious illnesses at a hospital in Indianapolis. And welcome to the show. Tom Nieman along with our basketball guy, Brad Newitt. And Summit League teams, a couple of them still playing as we speak here and record this show. The Oral Roberts teams are both playing. The men are playing Loyola Chicago in the second round of the CBI tournament. And the Oral Roberts women are still playing on Monday night as well, taking on New Mexico in the second round of the WBI, the Women's Basketball Invitational. Let's recap, though, the men's tournaments here, starting with the big dance, Newitt, the NCAA tournament and league tournament champion, Summit League tournament champion, North Dakota State. The Bison back in for the second straight season. They got the upset win last year, but they run into a number 2 seed Gonzaga in the first round and come up short 86-76.
Well, Gonzaga just too much size. I think that's really what it boiled down to. They out-rebound North Dakota State by 11, have 11 offensive boards. But I think the thing that really impressed me, and I think a lot of people around the country, was how well North Dakota State played offensively in this game. They shoot over 50% against Gonzaga, and Gonzaga is a team that holds teams to about 39% shooting. Lawrence Alexander has another great game. Dexter Warner, 22 points off the bench. And North Dakota State really, they gave Gonzaga all they wanted for a first-round game.
Gonzaga was up by 13 at halftime. Paul Miller and Dexter Warner lead that run in the second half. The Bison got back within 6 at 68-62. And as you said, Warner made some fans going right at Gonzaga's big guy. Paul Miller played really well. Alexander with 19 points. And he is the only senior on this NDSU team. That's hard to believe.
It is hard to believe. They've got everybody back. Now, you are losing Lawrence Alexander, the player of the year in the Summit League. So there's still a hole there that North Dakota State's going to have to fill. But there's a great, solid nucleus of guys. And we saw in this game how some of that young talent really has come along this year.
All right, elsewhere on the men's side, South Dakota State in the NIT. The Jackrabbits go to Colorado State and win 86-76. George Marshall and DeAndre Parks as the Jacks scored 47 points in the first half of that ball game. They win it 86-76. Marshall ends up with 24 there. And then they go to Vanderbilt and run into a hot shooting team that goes on a 16-0 run in the second half to beat the Jackrabbits and end their season there.
Well, great opening game for South Dakota State. First of all, to go and win at Colorado State. This is a team in Colorado State that a lot of people felt like should have been in the NCAA tournament, did not get in. They are number 1 seed in the NIT, and so South Dakota State to go get that win at Colorado State, I thought that was really a statement for them, especially after the tough loss and the way they lost in the Summit League Tournament Championship to North Dakota State. And then just have to play 2 days later in Nashville. I think that was a quick turnaround, a tough turnaround for South Dakota State. And Vanderbilt's a team with a lot of good young talent that can really shoot it, like you mentioned. Tom Hilly missed 4 shots, Vanderbilt did in that second half.
All right, South Dakota State ends the season with 24 wins. Fort Wayne was playing in the CIT, the CollegeInsider.com tournament, and they lose on the road at Evansville, a Missouri Valley team, 82-77. Steve Forbes with 20 in that game, and the Dons end their season 16-15 overall. And then Oral Roberts in the CBI, they get a first-round win, beat UC Santa Barbara. Obi Amegano with 30 points in that game, and again, Oral Roberts playing at Loyola Chicago there in a second-round game.
And I think Oral Roberts a team that really ended the season on a nice upswing, and they've kind of carried it over to this tournament. And that's what's great about these postseason tournaments for these teams. Get some more opportunities to practice and play and to kind of continue that momentum.
All right, up next on Inside the Summit League women's teams in the postseason, including South Dakota with a first-round win in the WNIT.
Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Grand Falls Casino and Golf Resort and Dakota Land Honda. Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Health, your Heartland Chevy team dealers, and the Sioux Falls Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Welcome back to Inside the Summit League. Well, 3 Summit League women's basketball teams made the postseason this year. Brad Newitt, and let's take a look at how they came out as well and start with the NCAA tournament for the women. And this seeding thing for Summit League teams is just tough to get over. South Dakota State, a 14 seed this year, taking on number 3 seed Oregon State. South Dakota was a 15 seed last year when the Coyotes got in. It's just tough to make a run in the NCAA tournament when you're seeded like that, isn't it?
It really is. You know, the top 4 seeds in each region on the women's side, they get to host those first 2 games. So unless you're a 12 seeder or better, you're going to be playing a true road game, and that's exactly what South Dakota State went up against, and it's tough to win those games, especially in the NCAA tournament.
Oregon State, the Pac-12 champions this year. South Dakota State led the game by 2 at halftime, but Oregon State, they've got a 6'6" center that played a part in a comeback in the second half. They made a bunch of threes, and Oregon State wins by a dozen.
Well, I think the big thing is you look at South Dakota State did not get to the foul line. They only shot 11 free throws in the game, and that's something that they usually excel at. They're very aggressive offensively, and then didn't hit three-pointers well, just 4 of 18. And so they needed one of those 2 things to change if they're going to be successful.
All right, the regular season champs, South Dakota, a bid to the NIT. And the Coyotes at home, they get a win over Creighton, 68-58. Nicole Seekamp, great again for South Dakota.
Yeah, she has just played great down the stretch in her senior year. You could tell she did not want things to end, especially on their home floor at the Dakota Dome. And a great win, and that's a big win for USD just in recruiting as well, because Creighton's a program that they're battling for players a lot, so good for them to get that one.
All right, Seekamp at 21 in that first game. She came back with 19 against Northern Colorado, but the Coyotes come up a point short, 59-58 to end their season. And then Oral Roberts in the WBI, the Women's Basketball Invitational. They beat Texas State in the first round, 57-54. Vicky McIntyre in that ball game, 16 points and 22 rebounds. And
again, another senior that you can tell doesn't want her career to end. She's playing fabulous basketball down the stretch.
All right, Oral Roberts, again, as we record this show, they're playing at New Mexico in the second round of that WBI. That does it for hoops. And up next on Inside the Summer League, we go back to the studio and come back with baseball. Omaha is out of the box, off to a 6-0 start in Summit League play. We'll check out some Diamond highlights coming up.
Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Grand Falls Casino and Golf Resort and Dakota Land Honda. Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Health, your Heartland Chevy team dealers, and the Sioux Falls Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Welcome back to Inside the Summit League. Well, after a month or so of preseason play, Summit League baseball teams are going head-to-head now for the second week as the Summit League season gets underway. 2-time defending regular season champion Omaha is off to a hot start after the Mavericks get a sweep of North Dakota State over the weekend. North Dakota State at Omaha in Game 1. There were 32 hits and 34 runs just in this first game. Clayton Taylor homers. Makes it 4-0 Omaha. The Mavericks just getting started. Colin Life is at the plate next for the Mavericks. Up the middle, that brings in 2 more. 7-0 Omaha out to the lead. Still in the 3rd inning. 2 on here for Summit League Co-Player of the Week, Alex Mortensen. Ropes that one down the left field line, brings in 2 more. Omaha scores 9 runs in the 3rd inning. They lead it 12-0. Omaha leads 16-5 before the Bison put up a 9 spot in the 8th inning. Aiden Hook with a triple and a single in the inning, but Omaha hangs on for the 20-14 win.
So we still had the lead, even though they had the momentum. We still had I think a 4 or 5 run lead there for a while. They cut it down to 2, but I mean, people know that we're still ready to go. We can still get outs.
All right, Omaha wins game 2 of the series 11-6. Mavs going for the sweep here on Sunday. Omaha on the board first on a single by Mortensen. He had 4 runs batted in this ball game. North Dakota State comes back with 3 runs in the 3rd inning. An RBI single from Taylor Sanders, who had a big game. Goes 4 for 6, drives in 3 runs. Bison lead it 3-1. Omaha comes back with 3 in their half of the 3rd. They put up Ryan Cate here, drives in Mortensen. Bison get out of the inning, though, on a play at the plate. Cate gets gunned down trying to score from second. Great throw out in left field from Danny Reagan, who is an Omaha guy, by the way. Omaha hanging on to a 4-3 lead after 3 innings. Sanders again, though, for the Bison. Taylor Sanders with a home run in the 8th. Not enough, though, as the Mavs get the win 12-7 in Game 3, and they get the series sweep over North Dakota State. In Macomb, Illinois on Friday, South Dakota State at Western Illinois. Joe Mordiaro is a New York kid. He sat out last year after transferring to Western Illinois. Goes 6 innings, 4 strikeouts in this one. In the 8th inning, South Dakota State leading by a run. Should be a can of corn on the infield, but it turns into the only error of the game for Western Illinois. Paul Jacobson scores. Jackrabbits lead 8-5. Talon Jumper comes on for South Dakota State. Goes 3 scoreless for his first save of the season as SDSU wins Game 1. Game 2 on Saturday was a marathon. Nasty stuff from Tyler Owings on in relief for Western Illinois. Goes 4 innings, strikes out 3. Jackrabbits get a run in the 2nd. Western Illinois gets 1 in the 6th. They go to the 14th inning here, tied at 1. Peyton Jeffers leads off the 14th with a single. The Leathernecks would load the bases, and in dramatic fashion, they get the walk-off game winner on a wild pitch as Jeffers comes in to score. 2-1 the final in 14 innings as Western Illinois takes Game 2. Well, that game went 3 hours and 43 minutes, and then they come back on Sunday afternoon here for Game 3. In the 6th inning, Luke Ringhofer slices that into left. Zach Coppola scores. South Dakota ties the game at 6-6. And then the Jacks take the lead in the 7th inning. 2-out hit for Paul Jacobson. He had 3 RBI. Cody Sharrow scores. Matt Johnson sliding in. And SDSU takes the series finale 9-7 to take 2 out of 3 at Western Illinois. And in the other Summit Series over the weekend, Fort Wayne at Oral Roberts. Game 1 here. Oral Roberts gets 14 runs on 12 hits. Matt Brandy to left field there. Noah Cummings coming around. Oral Roberts gets 4 in the 3rd inning to take a 4-3 lead. And the Eagles back at it in the 4th. Squeeze is on. Chase Stafford lays it down. Emmanuel Forcier scores. Oral Roberts up 7-3. And then a couple of more in the 5th. Audie Afner takes that to the gap in right center field. And the Golden Eagles go on and take Game 1 of the series 14-7. In Game 2, pick it up in the bottom of the 4th inning. Fort Wayne in the lead 3-1 until Chase Stafford doubles to left center. Stafford had 6 hits and 10 RBI in the first 2 games of this series for Oral Roberts. Golden Eagles would get another run on a fielder's choice here by Anthony Sequeira. Eagles get 6 runs in the 4th inning. Fort Wayne comes back with 2 in the 5th. Brandon Sote singles to bring in a run there, but the Eagles will tack one in on a wild pitch in the 7th. Audie Afner scores. Oral Roberts wins Game 2 and Game 3 to get the sweep. Well, coming up next, softball. North Dakota State is going to be tough again with pitcher Krista Menke mowing them down. Highlights from the Bison at Western Illinois and Fort Wayne at Omaha.
Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Grand Falls Casino and Golf Resort and Dakota Land Honda. Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Health, your Heartland Chevy team dealers, and the Sioux Falls Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Well, North Dakota State is the defending Summer League Tournament champion in softball, and the Bison are back again as the team to beat. It appears this year. League play is underway. Here is North Dakota State at Western Illinois and Fort Wayne at Omaha on opening weekend. Start in Macomb, Illinois. Western Illinois hosting North Dakota State in Game 1 of their series on Saturday. Alex Sobrero coming in to score. She had led off the game with a double. Comes around on the throwing error there. It's 1-0 Bison. Stays 1-0 to the top of the 5th inning. Jenna Isbell doubles. That scores Joey Samper. And it's 2-0 North Dakota State. Still in the 5th inning. Sobrero again. Second double of the game for her. That drives in Isbell. And it's 3-0 North Dakota State. Bison up 5-0 in the last of the 7th. Kagan Walsh poking that down the line. Sammy Marshall will come around to score. Rachel Beatty will score, but not enough. Bison hang on, and they win Game 1 of the series 5-2. Bison win Game 2 14-1, and we pick it up here in Game 3 on Sunday. Some leather from the Leatherneck defense. Carissa Coaches with the catch out and right, and then the gun to the plate to get Sobrero, and a Western Illinois double play. Bottom of the 1st. That is solid contact for Leah Romeo. Doubles deep to left. That brings in Thierry Bottineau. And Western Illinois in the early lead. Krista Menke, throwing for North Dakota State. Paints the corner there, ends a threat, one of her 10 strikeouts on the day for Menke. Fourth inning, this is just close all the way around. Sobrero gets it by a couple of gloves on the right side. Joey Samper just beats the throw for the Bison. Western Illinois leads, though, 2-1. And then in the bottom of the fourth, in a 2-2 game, Kelsey Marlowe gets just enough of that to score Tegan Walsh. And Western Illinois takes a 3-2 lead. But in the seventh, would you look at this? 2 on, 2 out for the Bison. Jackie Stifter goes yard. That sends the Bison home with a 5-3 win and the series sweep over Western Illinois in Macomb. All right, meanwhile, in Omaha, Fort Wayne and Omaha, this is Game 3. Omaha took the first 2 games of the series. Pick it up here in the second inning. Nicole Warren goes deep for Omaha, makes it 2-0 Mavericks. And then in the bottom of the sixth, Allie Mathewson. That is a laser to center field. Mathewson goes 3 for 3, scores 2 more for the Mavs. Omaha holds on for a 5-0 win and a sweep over the Dons.
Hitters just had a better approach going against the same pitcher that we saw yesterday, swinging at better strikes, not helping her out in the situation. She had a great changeup. She was effective with that, but our plan was to watch that one unless we had 2 strikes and make sure we were ready to jump on her quicker one. Anything in the zone we were going to swing at, and I think our kids did a better approach today.
Up next, a thing called a Jagathon at IUPUI that turned into a dance marathon that turned into a huge fundraiser to help out an Indianapolis hospital. That is next in the Campus Spotlight.
Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Grand Falls Casino and Golf Resort and Dakota Land Honda. Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Health, your Heartland Chevy team dealers, and the Sioux Falls Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Welcome back to Inside the Summit League. Well, there is a discipline of medical care called palliative medicine. Its focus in general is not to cure a disease or an illness, but to help make life better and more livable for the patients who have a serious disease or a serious illness. And there is a hospital in Indianapolis that is getting some help from students at IUPUI. They have worked and danced to raise money to help the hospital help its patients. Here is the story in this week's Campus Spotlight.
In 2003, a movement started on the IUPUI campus to raise money for Riley Hospital for Children.
The movement was called Jagathon and raised $3,720 in its first year.
As the IUPUI campus has grown, Dance Marathon has grown with it, and so has our success.
In 2012, Jagathon began donating all of their proceeds to the palliative care program at Riley Hospital for Children.
Palliative care for children is total care of a child with a life-limiting or life-threatening condition that helps the child live better. The focus is about quality of life for the child, ensuring that they are happy and doing things that all children should be able to do.
Yeah, I was born with sickle cell anemia. The doctors kind of knew right away when I was an infant, and maybe about the first 8 years of my life were very well. I didn't have many problems, but in 2009, I kind of found myself in a downward spiral, and I found myself there when both my brothers left to go to college, and I'm really close with my brothers. They're like my best friends, so when they left for college, it was just me, my little sister, and my parents, and I just kind of found myself in a deep depression, even though I didn't really understand it or know what was going on. I was only maybe 12 at the time. This year, with my sickle cell, I met Dr. Moody, and she helped me get back on track with doing holistic care, changing my diet, exercising more, getting out the house, not laying in bed all day, and it's helped a lot.
And I saw even 15 years ago the need for having a program that really looks at the patient as a whole and in total, and not just in parts and pieces and a diagnosis. And
parents oftentimes fear about if the child should pass, what that looks like, what that feels like, what support they're going to have. So again, I think a lot of our job is to help support them and to help them know how to communicate with their children, and then how to support themselves during that time as well.
And my very favorite part is when we've done a good job, the peace and the smiles and the sense of the environment shift. The whole space has shifted and people are peaceful and they feel cared for.
One thing I'm able to do now that I'm doing better is going back to dancing. Had to stop when I was 12 when my sickle cell got really bad, and now I'm able to do that more often like I wanted to.
I think the dance marathon and that it supports our program by funding basic aspects of it is hugely important for the families. I don't think we would have palliative care as a program if we didn't have supporters at Dance Marathon dancing for us. And I think we're changing the lives of these children, and we really couldn't do it without you guys.
And I would very much appreciate that, to know that someone is out there dancing to help someone like me and other kids that have this problem and aren't able to do the things that they want to do. Thank you, IUPUI Dance Marathon, for everything that you've done for Raleigh Hospital.
Thank you, IUPUI Dance Marathon, for your support at Riley Hospital for Children, for the palliative care program, and all the children we take care of.
Palliative care has already changed the lives of many families in its short duration at Riley Hospital.
Jagathon is fortunate to stand in support of these incredible children and their families.
This is why we dance.
Our thanks to everybody at IUPUI. Thanks to all of our member schools. We'll see you next week on Inside the Summit League.